Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pacharane Nirvise Sasunyavadi Paskya Chadesha Charane Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So everybody is wanting to be happy in their life. That is a fact. Everyone is trying to be happy. But the greatest happiness, the happiness should last. It shouldn't be temporary. What we experience, unfortunately, are segments, little teasers of happiness, because nothing lasts. So this means that it's not really happiness. It's actually like a teasing toward, it's teasing us, but it's not giving us fulfillment for actual happiness. It comes and goes. And along with this temporary happiness that we experience in the material world, we also experience suffering. It's like an action-reaction, equal and opposite. So in order to avoid the unhappiness, everyone is rushing toward happiness all the time, because unhappiness means pain, misery, depression, death, sickness. So people try to overcome this unhappiness of their life by piling on temporary happiness. So temporary unhappiness, temporary happiness. And this is pretty much the life of everybody. It is not a good situation, because our nature is, we are soul, we are eternal. Now, this point is often debated by intellectuals or non-intellectuals, atheists, Buddhists, agnostics. They don't even believe that we are eternal. They think it's all nothing. But they cannot create a life force in the laboratory. They cannot take that which is us. Now they're trying to mimic this with artificial intelligence. They think artificial intelligence will one day surpass the human being intelligence, and they're hoping. Everyone is hoping. Like by what Srila Prabhupada, my spiritual master, called the post-dated check theory of scientists. People believe that, oh, today we don't have as much knowledge, so hopefully in the future we will know what is God or what is not God, or what is the absolute, and we have all these scientists working on it, and doctors, and meanwhile the very self, the essence, the life force that gives us life to the body, that they cannot reproduce. And they'll never be able to reproduce it, because it is anti-material, it is spiritual. So according to the Vedas, Vedas means knowledge, according to the Vedic scripture, the soul is an emanating particle from God. So it's a God particle. You cannot produce this. Man cannot produce the God particle. And they should stop trying, because it's not going to happen. It's a waste of energy. Meanwhile, people are dilly-dallying through life, happy, distress, happiness, and distress. And this is a very significant issue, because our life is only this long, from birth to death. And only time in between is what we have a few decisions to make, short-term, long-term, mid-term. All along, because there is no better knowledge available, seemingly, we tend to be agnostic, atheistic. We don't believe in God or the eternal self. Or there are some who do believe in the eternal self, but they don't really understand what it is. And so People are living a confused life for only, the duration is only maybe 100 years. Why is there so much confusion? Because we're living in the Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel and confusion. Now, I didn't know this until I met my spiritual master. So I had to be taught by my guru what's going on. Sat me down and explained to me. So we need this type of holy person, guru, to explain to us what's going on. What is our situation, who we are, what is God, how to develop a relationship with him, how to get out of the suffering condition that we're in, how to experience lasting happiness. That should be the draw. That should be what draws us into seeking God. I want lasting happiness. I'm tired of the day-to-day fake happiness. I'm tired. I really want to taste something. If it's real, I want to taste it. And so the guru was saying, yes, lasting happiness is there. Why? And then he explained to me, God is Ananda Maya Bayasat. He is full of joy and happiness. This clicked with me. So God is full of joy and happiness, and it's not temporary. It is his nature. And I'm thinking, well, this is God. If God's nature is full of joy and happiness, why am I not experiencing that nature? And my guru explained to me, because you are covered by the desire for self-happiness, which is called Maya. You are only thinking of yourself. So your position on a spiritual platform is you have a relationship with the Supreme as his associate, as his comrade, companion, servant, lover. You have a relationship with the Supreme Lord, but that relationship is currently covered because you are obsessed with self-happiness. In other words, as soon as we forget that we have a relationship with the most beautiful personality anywhere, we fall into this abyss called Maya. And we start to habituate about self-happiness and egoism. And then we identify so strongly with this form that we think is us. And so this form is supposed to generate all of our happiness. So we are always exposing ourselves to what we think is going to bring this form happiness. But this form is not us. The self can't be seen with material eyes. So this is part of the illusion or the lack of knowledge that we have, that we need to meet a guru and hear from him and try to educate ourselves as to the real situation so that we can extract ourselves from this illusion, this Maya. The process that my guru gave me, that he's sharing with the world, is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti means devotion. So we know everyone has a certain level of bhakti already, but not bhakti for God. They have devotion for themselves, their family, their children, their country, their car, their dog, their pet. Everyone has a mood of service. So that is an inherent mood. That's part of the soul's mood. It is to serve. It's because when you serve whatever or whoever, there's a certain feeling that you get of happiness. So we can establish that service is a good thing. To serve, if you serve, you get. And some of those principles have been established. People have heard them before. But service to God, not that God is in need, but that is the relationship. If we reestablish that relationship, which is temporarily covered, then we can experience complete happiness. So on a soul level. So bhakti means service to God. And we call this sadhana. A sadhana is a practice. It's practice because it will take time for us to develop what is innate. It's like the growing of an acorn. It takes time to develop into an oak tree. So if you take up bhakti and practice bhakti, you will uncover a natural bridge, a relationship with the Supreme Lord. Now, who or what is the Supreme Lord? This is a big question. People want to know. People think that God is hidden. People don't know what God is. They use their speculative mind. Oh, God doesn't exist. God might exist. God's not a person. God's an imperson. So many ideas. God is not hiding from us. We are hiding from God. God is in the temples. We have the Hare Krishna temples all over the world. Sri Krishna in the Vedas, in the oldest scriptures in the world, handed down from guru to guru to guru for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. Clearly, it is said, here is God, Krishna, even the first living being in our universe, whom is called Brahma. He said, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Sanskrit. Govinda, another name for Krishna. Here is God. Adi Purush means first person, the original person, Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the original person who was full of transcendental bliss. So God's bliss is not material. His happiness is coming from himself. He is enjoying himself. He's enjoying his unlimited beauty, his unlimited strength, unlimited knowledge, unlimited wealth, unlimited renunciation or independence. He's enjoying his own opulences. They are his, they're unlimited, and they are full of pleasure for him. Anandamaya Bhyasa. We are emanations from God, meant to enjoy with him his pleasure. So when we perform bhakti, we are coming out of this maya, out of this idea of self-egoistic pleasure. In other words, out of the misconception that I'm the center of everything and my activities are the center of the universe. They are the center of my universe, but not the actual universe. So when we perform bhakti to Krishna, we are coming out of this illusion. Illusion means I'm misidentifying a rope with a snake. I think the snake is a rope, but actually it's just a rope. So I'm thinking that this happiness around me is real, but it's not. it doesn't actually satisfy me. It's an illusion. It poses as happiness, but it's no happiness at all. As we said earlier, along with that happiness comes distress and suffering. So when we follow the order of the spiritual master, the dictates, the information coming from the guru, and we do bhakti to Krishna, the original person, there is an amazing transformation that takes place. Something transforms. Something changes in us from what we were before to what we become. Now, that principle of transformation is seen every day in material life. Oftentimes, people like to use the analogy of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Or sometimes people talk about changing themselves, going through a change. And we even see our bodies have gone through a complete change from boyhood to youth to old age. Bodies completely changed. So transformation is not a new principle. So when you do Krishna consciousness, there is a transformation. Maya, which is covering our real knowledge of God, becomes dissipated. It loosens, it becomes vaporous, it disappears. And in its place, we see things as they are. It's like the clouds in front of the sun, and toward the midday, they evaporate and the sun is shining. You can see it very clearly. Bhakti yoga dissolves ignorance. And what you are left with is you are seeing your best friend, your best lover, your son, all of the relationship qualities are found in Krishna, the supreme reservoir of all relationships and pleasure. This is the meaning of God, which we didn't know, or I didn't know, or you didn't know. The meaning of God is he's all pleasurable because he is the source of relationships between not just you and I, but between us and him. The relationship that we have with Krishna is transcendental, which means it's perfect. It is complete love on the spiritual plane. And that is why anyone and everyone can practice and become Krishna conscious. Krishna does not hide himself from us. It's we who are hiding from him due to lack of knowledge. And the bridge between us and Krishna is the spiritual master or the guru, who is in the line of succession, who is coming and teaching and training us to open our eyes, how to open our eyes, how that we can see clearly, how that we can have lasting knowledge. And be continually happy. Freedom from doubt, freedom from illusion, freedom from distress. Situated on the transcendental platform. That is what Bhakti Yoga to Krishna can bring us, can bring all people. Krishna does not hide himself. He's in so many temples. Krishna says, come and see me. He's on this planet. He's on many different planets. He's the deity. He's in our heart. And when our heart is actually purified, just by practicing the Hare Krishna chanting and Bhakti Yoga, just by simple chanting and singing and repeating the name of God, singing and repeating the name of God, the illusion is cleared. Peace and happiness come to the heart. And literally, not only can you see Krishna in the temple as the deity form, but you can even see Krishna outside the temple in his personal form. You can see him in your heart. You can see him and feel him everywhere. And when this mortal body that we all possess is finished, either in a timely or untimely fashion, we will immediately ascend, go to Krishna. We will be given or awarded or benedicted a spiritual body different than what we currently have. An eternal, youthful, spiritual body with which we can play with Krishna, interact with him eternally without the interference of time. Time is what ages us. There is no time in the spiritual world. There's only relationship and love and intensity and great feelings. Krishna's protecting the entire spiritual world with a spiritual umbrella. He's encouraging, he's welcoming everyone. He says, come to me, come into the spiritual world. Somehow or other, we are currently in a conditioned material state of existence. And we need to get out of it. And we have a need, a desire to leave this experience. And Krishna consciousness affords us that opportunity to get out of the material experience, to taste spiritual bliss. How to do that? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Repeating the names of God. It's not a mechanical thing. It's a spiritual vibration. That when we are in tune with this spiritual vibration, all the karma and the ignorance that we've accumulated over time is gone. It's like cleaning the diodes of a battery of a car, diode, so that the battery works properly or the magnet works properly. Cleaning, it's a cleansing mechanism so that we can function properly in relation to God. It's not a difficult process. It's actually easy. It's really easy. If there's any difficulty, it's because of our material state. But the process itself is easy. And if we give it a chance and give it some time, and if we associate with the Guru, our Guru, we will definitely make progress from day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour, year to year, until we are here. When we started here, tangible, self-evident proof. More peaceful, happy, joyful. As we are getting older in Krishna consciousness, our lives are becoming better. It's the reverse of the material world. In the material world, the older you get, death is coming, old age is coming, concern, worry, fear. You're losing your childhood, your innocence as you're getting older. Nobody wants to get old. So if you don't want to get old, practice Krishna consciousness. You will always be having an ever fresh mind, ever fresh thoughts, joyful thoughts, inspired by the supreme beauty, Krishna. He's our guide, internal antaryami super soul guide. He takes control of our happiness, and he never fails. Our joy becomes connected internally with Krishna. And that joy grows unimpeded. It cannot be defeated. This is the most joyful place anyone could hope for. Disneyland with him. We are so much habituated with Disneyland without, and we have forgotten, we don't know how to develop that which is within. So take this honest evaluation and accept the gift that is being given to you. Chant the holy names because they're holy. They never diminish in quality or potency. It's a gift that's being given to you. There's no cost. Take up this chanting, cleanse the diodes or the dirt, the dust, the karma on your heart through this chanting. Experience a higher taste. Become convinced of this great companionship that you have with Krishna that you didn't know you had. He is our best friend because he's perfect, he's beautiful, he's supreme, he's got the greatest and highest knowledge, he's full of wealth, he's everything that we want, and he's ours, and he's our best friend. And when we chant and call upon him, he's right there. He's right there. He's far away, and he's closer to us than we are to ourselves. So calling upon him, he is right there, regardless of who we think we are, or who we think we're not, or what we think we lack, or that we don't think we're the best, or whatever our makeup is. Krishna's our best friend. He doesn't have flaws. He doesn't have imperfections. He doesn't have depression. He doesn't lack anything. And he's our best friend. Please consider and meditate upon that. We always want, every one of us, whether we are married, single, whatever our situation is, everyone wants and should have the companionship of the best person. We need to learn to worship Krishna. This is the only thing lacking on this planet Earth, is lack of worshiping Krishna. That's the only thing missing. My guru would say, there are so many zeros. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 0. But if you put a 1 in front of those zeros, all of a sudden, 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 1 million, $10 million. The one thing missing is Krishna. How do we get Krishna? How do we associate with Krishna? The easiest way, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. You don't overthink it. Don't think yourself better than the mantra, less than the mantra. Don't think about what it is, what it isn't. Sing it, say it. Accept it as the gift that's being given to you. Stay in the moment with it. Let the vibration of the holy name come through you. Massage your heart. Bring joy to your life. Like an ocean or like rain coming into dry, parched land. It soaks the land. And from that, flowers grow. Allow the vibration of the holy name to fill you. Every day, chant the holy name and let that vibration take out the Maya, bring in the needed rain of love coming from Krishna's person, his beautiful hands, his lotus-like feet, his gorgeous face. Let the joy of Krishna enter your heart through the sound vibration of the Hare Krishna mantra. Every day, make this a habit. We call this sadhana. Make this a habit. Nurture the muscle that you have, which is currently not being used. The muscle of the heart and the intelligence. Use this to develop your Krishna consciousness. You will do yourself eternal good. Don't leak out and waste your time on endless sense gratification, which will weaken you and make you ill and confused. Rather than just watch television all day or go to music concerts and hear varieties of sound, which might sound good, or going to restaurants to eat varieties of foods or drink alcohol varieties and all of these things, one after the other after the other. Try to make a habit out of your spiritual life. Do some good for the bird in the cage, not just the cage. Don't be fooled by the material energy, which is calling you all the time. Come to the beach, come on vacation, come to this restaurant, planning all the time material happiness. It's a bad habit. If you are serious about getting out of this illusion, if you're serious about finding lasting happiness, my father used to say, you can't dance at two weddings at the same time. You can't be chasing the illusion and hope to find peace in your heart and love. You have to be willing to make a sacrifice. It's not a big one. Just like when you go to the doctor and he says, you know, you've been having too good a time. It's time to cut back on fats and drinking alcohol and smoking tobacco, and which all comes from staying out late and going bar hopping and doing whatever you want and grilling on your backyard, all kinds of cholesterol foods and meats and things. He's saying to you, it's time to cut back. You have to make a sacrifice of these things. And you think about it and you think about it and you go, you know, I love my family. I love my wife. I'm going to do it for my kids. I want to see my grandkids. I'm going to cut out smoking. I'm going to make a sacrifice. Sacrifices are very good and healthy. You give up something to gain something better. So in the same way, Krishna consciousness is like that. You're giving up some of the time that you would have used for enjoying your senses or seeking gratification of your senses. Instead, you're worshiping, you're praying, you're chanting, you're saying, you're directing your time and your energy to God, Krishna, the supreme sentient spiritual being. What can be more happy than that? So the time that you spend with your bhakti worshiping Krishna, he's not a living being that lived just a long time ago. He's living now. He exists right this moment. He exists now. He existed 5,000 years ago when he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. He existed 2 million years earlier than that when he spoke the Bhagavad Gita again or earlier to the sun god Vivaswan. He existed before Lord Brahma, who existed millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of years ago. He existed before Brahma because Krishna is transcendental to time. And even though he's existed then, and he's existing at this very moment, Hare Krishna, he has not aged one drop. He's eternally youthful. We age because we have a material body. Krishna doesn't age because his body is transcendental, and he's inviting us into his world where we won't age just like him. Krishna is saying, come to me, think of me, worship me, love me, embrace me, be with me, have a life with me. That's the invitation. And unfortunately, people can be very bitter about the experience they're having in life. Oh, there's no God. Oh, who was God? Why did God put me here? This is the biggest complaint. Why am I here? Why is God putting me here? It doesn't make a difference why we're here. We're here. Not that God doesn't love us. He's with us right now in the heart. He's traveled with us. He's always with us. So he hasn't abandoned us. He's the super soul. He sees us. He's watching us, not only in this life, but in all the previous lives that we've had. And he's always wanting us to turn our face toward him. Always. So this world we are put in because it is a world for us to do one of two things. We've been given the freedom of choice. God does not want us to force us to love him. So independence and free will are part of our nature. And he's saying, go enjoy yourself apart from me. But when you've learned your lesson and you find it's not real happiness, then ask, and I shall provide to you the bridge to me, the reality. You don't have to stay independently suffering in this material world. You don't have to be egoistic and do it alone, because this world is not meant for your ultimate happiness. This is Krishna speaking to us, but he doesn't interfere. He lets time and the material energy do its illusion upon us. If we want to stay, Krishna says, stay. I'm not forcing you to love me, even though I'm eternal beauty and eternal strength and eternal wealth and eternal knowledge and eternal bliss. You don't have to come to me. If you want to be the center of the universe and enjoy life on your own and have one wife, many wives, one husband, many husbands, cheat, do what you want, have sex, do anything that you please, and you don't want to be told what to do and you're bent on being independent, have at it. I will facilitate, Krishna says. He doesn't stop. God is facilitating our independence, even if and when or if we go to hell. If we want to kill somebody, yes, there's laws. I mean, we'll get caught perhaps by the justice system, or if not, Krishna sees and Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, sees, and punishment comes, because his universe works in a certain way that no one can stop. If you do good, you get good. If you do bad, you get bad. Krishna says, I want you to learn what are the laws of life. The state, the government wants us to live within the laws so that we can live a better life. And then there's laws of nature. If you do good to others, you get rewarded. If you do bad, you're punished. And what are the rewards and punishments of being good and being bad? Unfortunately, they're all material. So being a good person will elevate us to a better material situation. Being a bad person will cause us to go down to get a worse material situation, both in body and our possessions and our life around us. But neither one of us neither one of those situations brings real happiness to the self. And being that we've been here in the material world for so long, body after body after body, we've experienced both good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. But when you come to Krishna consciousness and you worship the Supreme, there's no good reaction. There's no bad reaction from that worship. There's a transcendental transformation reaction. You become eternally youthful by worshiping God. You don't go to God for a better house, better wife, money. Yes, it's okay to do that, but that's not the best reason to go to God. It's the first reason, perhaps, the initial reason. But when you take a guru, a spiritual master, you will find the real reason we should go to God. Learn chanting, learn the process of devotion to Krishna, learn how to awaken your transcendence, your spirituality. And if you do and you have success, you can count on not coming back to this world again, to getting born into a mother's womb and going through the same pain and pleasure that you did in this life. So this is a small introduction to Krishna consciousness. I hope it's been beneficial for you. I hope you will consider what has been said to you. If you have any questions, leave a comment, get in touch with me. This is an opportunity you should seriously consider taking up. I'll see you in the next video. Hare Krishna.